Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the van build. In today's episode we're going to show you where I've got up to, how much more we've done, and what the next job is. So yeah, enjoy. So just to show you where we're at, then last time you were with me we were looking at making these shelves for these Stanley boxes, the fat mat boxes with all the screws in. So we've got all our plasterboard screws in there, black nails for the nail gun, wood screws, and then all our different types of wall plugs. Just managed to fit in one of my little trowel bags in there, which fits in nice and snug. Might end up making another shelf for that, but it just fits in there nicely for now. And then on this side, I haven't sort of documented this, but it's the same process as what I've done here, but just with the Bosch power tool boxes. So we've got this bigger one here, which just has a little bit of a nosing on the bottom, and then we've got the two smaller cases, which are the drills, SDS combi and impact. So I was going to make these individual like these, but we've ended up running out of headroom, and I couldn't make this too much taller because otherwise the space between here and the ceiling just wasn't enough and you wouldn't be able to get stuff in and out. So because of the Sortimo ones, I've clipped them together and they just slide in together. It does make it a little bit heavy, but it's not the end of the world. And then the other thing I've done since last time is just put a nosing on here, so this is more like a shelf. We've got the mixer up here in the moment and just chucked my analysis boots up there, but the mixer might end up going on here, which is the next little job. So we're going to get this sheet up on here and then use hooks to hang the other extra little bits that we've got, so the mixer might end up there. So yeah, in terms of where we got to, then it was just a case of finishing this off, so this is all nice and squared off, and then yeah, looking at the other side. So like I say, this is going to go up here, and so the next job really is to scribe this, make it roughly the right shape, and then we're going to get it up. We might have to pack it out with a little bit of wood, but yeah, that's what we're going to look at. So this is the bit that I've got left, without having to go out and buy some more. It more or less fits pretty well. Doesn't have to be down at the bottom, like I say, stuff's going to be hung up on it, so really I want it to attach in here, down these two sides, and then that might end up packing out the bottom a little bit. But as you can see, obviously some does need to come off, so this bit needs to come off here, so I need to scribe a bit here. But rather than scribing it, I think I'm just going to maybe just eyeball that, do it freehand, and then a similar thing on this side. I don't know if you can see that from there. But yeah, similar thing here. This needs taking off here, and then obviously just do a nice straight cut there. But the idea is, yeah, to get these cuts done, and then we can move on. So, like I say, I'm really just gonna freehand this here, see how it fits in. I think that probably needs to be steeper actually. Probably more like that on that side. And this bit here, I will do a quick measurement just to see how far down it is. 10, 15, or 150, so probably about here, so just curve that round and we'll just chop that out like that. Okay, let's get that done. Don't use the jigsaw an insane amount, but it's definitely a handy tool to have for when you need it. Right, let's see how that fits in off that just initial cut, see if my freehand eyeballing has worked or whether it's just gone disastrously wrong. So let's have a look. It's not a million miles away. I actually think I've done alright there. So all I need to do now is cut this bit off the end here, because we don't need this bit. And then I'm going to look at packing out the bottom because it does tip back, which I don't necessarily want it to do. Helps if I have a battery on. got a bit of an issue because this side of the board is sitting here and there's a recess bit there, but there isn't at this end. So I need to kind of almost like pack this out to be at the same level as this, which means kind of maybe attaching a bit of wood to the bottom of this board here so it all sits up nicely, or sort of screwing some wood into there maybe, and getting that to all sit a little bit neater, a little bit straighter. It's just going to make putting this on a lot easier. So yeah, that's the next problem. Nothing in this is easy. Even when you're just trying to put up a really square flat bit of board, you've got to kind of deal with all the ins and outs of the van. So that's the next thing to look at. So I've got my 50mm of wood packers there roughly. I'm just going to put them on the end there and then just hold it up again and see if that works. Right, so that's worked. What we're going to try and do the same again for the middle there, just so it doesn't bow in. So after a little bit of messing about, we ended up using 3 bits of ply here and 2 bits of ply there. The van does sort of taper back like this, or the chassis does at least. So yeah, we didn't need 3 in the middle because it made this bit stick out and not sit on there. So the next job is to put these Tech Fast screws in. I use these to go into the framework, the self-tapping, the beasts really. They go into some thick stuff. We had some sort of fixing points here through some pretty thick metal that was already there, and yeah, they just sort of went through it like it was nothing really. So yeah, if you're ever wanting to do any screwing into wood, or you're doing a similar band build, then yeah, these Tech Fast screws I would definitely recommend. So you have to use a little bolt chuck on them to get on the ends, but I think that's just to give it a nice bit of grip. I think if you were just using a posi, you might end up threading it. So really, I need to get one in the right place, and then the rest, I would hope, follow suit relatively easy. We'll see how we go. It's not quite tall enough. A bit of ply underneath as well. Got enough of it left. Got a bit of 12. So we did have a bit of a problem there. Camera cut out, but probably good really, because it would have just caught me doing loads of expletives. Basically, the 32s that I've got here, I used them. I used the 32s in the 12mm, which was fine, but with the 18mm, it just doesn't quite meet the wood enough. So what I've had to do was use a spade bit. You can see here. So I've got the combi out using the spade. So basically, what I'm going to have to do is recess all of these back with the spade bit, and yeah, and then that'll tighten in. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain. You know, a little unconventional, but as long as we can get it to work, that's all I kind of care about, really. Right, so we might have missed a bit there because we had to do a battery change. I was in the middle of sorting that out, and then yeah, the battery cut out. So I've gone back to the drawing board a little bit with this. What I've decided to do is, there's such a big gap, sort of just because of the way the van curves, where it sits up at the top and where it sits up down at the bottom, it's just, yeah, it's too far basically. So what I'm going to try and do is stick this bit of wood down the middle here. I use these metal brackets that I have here to attach it either side, and then it just gives it some extra support and something to screw in the middle. Yeah, so let's get that on. Let's finally get this bit on, because it's really annoying me and I want to get it done. a lot of tweaking to do, which you can see on the time lapse. I've ended up doing, you can see down here, I put this extra bit of 3x2, and then even then I've had to sort of shim that out just to get that to screw nicely. So I put screws down the middle, so hopefully this is all nice and secure now, won't fall off, although we'll have to wait and see. So the next job is to get this ladder on here. I've got these hangers to put it on. Of all sorts of different sizes just to check what works. So yep, they fit in nicely there. If we can get the ladders and the mixer up, then that'll be you know, that'll be job well done. Right, so we're making the end of this video quite a few months later. After that day when I was doing this left hand side of the van with all the hooks on, I thought I'd done a little outro and some filming of it, more or less finished, but apparently not. I thought I'd press record or something's happened and I didn't have the footage, so I've gone to edit it, realised I don't have a proper ending for it, so I'm just doing a little outro. So yeah, let's have a quick look at where we got up to and the bits we added to the van. We're into job territory here, got a bunch of plaster getting used and being used on the house for the downstairs renovation, which is something we're videoing at the moment and looking at a later date. Also got this nice oak slab that we're working on as well for a whole other little sort of side mini series. But yeah, this is how the wall sort of turned out and where we got up to with it. So you saw me putting on all the hooks, so here's some of them in action. We've got the mixer up on the hook there. This big one here is mainly for my A-frame ladder, but at the moment just being used to hang a few other bits on. I haven't done a reveal yet, so I'm not going to show you everything, but I might end up putting a panel in there as well, just to put a few more hooks on, so things like my tool belt can get hung up. We've got more little hooks down here, some for my ear defenders, some for expanding foam gun. I've got a little hook that my sort of applicator for sealants goes on. We've got a little hook here for the stand. So yeah, not looking completely complete, but in terms of just giving you an idea of where we're at for the end of the video, then I thought I'd show you where we were. And yeah, that might be the last one really in terms of getting the van together. I don't necessarily think it's worth a whole video just to show you me doing the back of here, but what we'll do next after this video is we'll do a proper reveal. What I'll do is I'll get everything in the van set up exactly how I want to get it set up, and then we'll go from there and we'll show you everything we did and talk through it from back to front. Anyway, yeah, this is the end of this episode, so if you've watched all of them so far, then the next one will be the reveal. If you've not, go back to the beginning, see how this van started out and see all the work we've done on it to get to this point. Alright, see you next time.